Welcome to the StockMentor.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock mentor, Brian Johnson, making professional trading simple. And had a couple good moves last week. One up, and then, of course, Friday, the move down. Um, as you can see, though, drawing in my new lines for the week, really nothing broken here. Still waiting for some more major declines before I start looking at being a little bit more bearish. If you're following along on the subscribers newsletter as well, you were in with me last week to the short side. So we're up a little bit as it stands right now, and we'll see if we can get some follow through this week to help us out with that short position. But I still need a little bit more work before I go rushing into the bear side here from the Dow. And you can see, and only because A, Mondays have been very, very good to the markets. B, no reason to think that that won't change tomorrow. And C, every time we've had a pullback of some sort, even a bigger pullback, it's just been eaten up by the bulls as a cheaper place to get in back into the market. So we have to be, of course, approach this cautiously from the bear side. And really nothing broken in the bigger picture yet. Looking at the daily on a Dow here too, you can see where we did pull back to on Friday, erased 2 days worth of trading, but still held this overhead or this new support of 11,000. So we have not broken that yet. We'll see if that changes coming into this week's trading, but we must, of course, approach this very cautiously. I'd be very cautious of the 10,900 level as well, if and when we get down there on the Dow. But still, in the bigger picture, nothing broken here. So we want to be very cautious with your trading. And just be careful about taking that bear side and be ready to cover, run for cover if and when this thing pulls back. I do expect when this thing starts to run that it could run hard and heavy for a little while, but no reason to think at this point that we're not still going to some newer highs down the road. A little premature for us to be thinking that this move on Friday was a bigger bear move that's going to take us way down into this area here. Way, way, way too early to be even considering that at this point. NASDAQ on a 60-minute. This has been the real strength behind the markets. This NASDAQ showing a little bit, obviously, of a weakness on the 60-minute chart, but way up above, holding above this 2,000 area and way up above where the rest of the indices are at, as in it has not broken this blue line yet. And you can see how well this blue line is continuing to hold. I've had this drawn in here for, I don't know, a month and a half now. And it continues to hold extremely well to the markets. So I need that 2,000 level to go, not just to move down below it, but also a close below it before I start looking at 1975-ish below that. So, but that's a good 25-point move in the Nasdaq if we can break below this 2,000 area. So be watching that very closely. Would also show some weakness from the standpoint of finally the Nasdaq breaking this blue line. From a weekly standpoint, we saw here was my overhead resistance level of 1960, 1970. That held for a week and then was busted. Here we have the next overhead level of 2040 to 2050, and that was touched this week but not broken. So we'll see if that strength continues or if this potential reversal candle we see here actually starts to play out as such. And maybe over the next week or two we get some sort of a move to the downside. Now, is it going to be a pullback? Is it going to be a drop, a more major drop? Have no idea. Have no idea. Could just end up being a drop like this where it ends up being a pullback again before a move up. What we'll be watching is the direction that this pullback goes when it comes. Is it going to be a really quick one down here to this lower channel line, even to the 20-week moving average, maybe even below to 1750? Seems like a long ways away. Or is it just going to slowly work its way sideways, maybe down a little bit, and hold this 1960, 1970 area? Keep your eye on that as we come into the new week. SPX on a 60-minute. This showed us the same thing all the other indices did. Coming back to this level of support, now setting up what? Yes, a shoulder ahead and maybe a shoulder here. Don't jump in too soon, guys. Every head and shoulder we've seen on the way up has all failed, and they've all resolved to the upside. So don't get too optimistic yet if you're bearish. So I know I'm continuing to hammer that on you. I just want you guys to keep in mind what we've seen the past few weeks, and that is a quick move down. Everybody goes, is this it? And it isn't. It ends up being bought right back up by the bulls. From a daily standpoint, you can see it also pulling back into this level of support, same as the rest of the indices did. Yes, big red. Yes, big volume. Yes, big trouble here, because this engulfs about, what, 1, 2, 3 candles, I guess, if we're just kind of looking at it from objectively there. So a big move down, but once again, we need confirmation. We need to make the markets prove something to us. SPX on a weekly putting in also the potential reversal candle here, and we'll see if that eventually makes it back to this blue line. But these reversal candles that we've seen on the way up have only worked in moderation. This one's probably the most pronounced, though. I like this one where it's at right here. Anything back up and above, I'm watching that 1225, 1230-ish level. VIX on a daily did have a huge spike. That was a big spike on Friday. Going right back to a weekly, though, you can see it's still staying contained within these levels down here. And that's between about the 16 and the 18 level. So, yes, big white candle on the VIX. But overall, no extended fear yet coming back into the markets. We saw a big white candle move here, and we just bled to death the next few weeks. We'll see if this lower blue line that has now held extremely well as support is going to hold up on any more touches of that line. If it makes it back down there again, let's see if it holds up the next time. Otherwise, overhead, we're looking at something above this support line or this resistance line here, and or above about 20 on the VIX.